There comes a point after every ending when the hardest part is no longer the ending. The tears have mostly stopped. The paperwork is filed. The room is cleared out, or the last box is unpacked, or the badge has been handed back, and the inbox that used to own your mornings has gone quiet. The people who checked on you have stopped checking because you seem fine now. And you are, mostly. You did the grieving. You did the work. You survived the thing you were not sure you would survive. And then one ordinary morning, you wake up in a life that is technically yours, and you realize you have absolutely no idea what to do with it. Some of you are hearing this in a house that used to be loud. Some of you signed papers that ended a decade. Some of you walked out of a building where everyone knew your title, and now you hesitate when a form asks for your occupation. The details are different. The blank is the same. That is the season no one warns you about. Everyone prepares you for the loss. No one prepares you for the blank that comes after the loss. The blank is stranger than the grief. Grief has a shape. Grief has a name. You can point at it and say, "This is what hurts," but the blank has no shape. It is just a wide open question standing in the middle of your kitchen, and the question is this: now what? What do you want? Who are you when no one needs anything from you? What do you do with a Tuesday when there is no one to drive anywhere? No meeting that cannot happen without you. No one waiting for you to come home. And most people, when they feel that question, panic. They believe something is wrong with them. They believe that a person who has lived this long should know what they want by now. They believe the emptiness is proof that they were only ever the role. And now that the role is over, there is nothing left. But hear me carefully, because what I am about to tell you will change how you walk through the next season of your life. The blank is not emptiness. The blank is clearing. Not knowing is not the same as being lost. And the question standing in your kitchen is not an accusation. It is an invitation, and it has been waiting a very long time for you to be free enough to hear it. You are not lost. You are unassigned. For years you had an assignment, and you knew exactly what it was. Raise them. Hold it together. Build the career. Keep the house running. Be the one people could count on. You did not have to ask what you wanted, because the assignment answered the question for you every single morning before your feet touched the floor. And now the assignment has ended. Not because you failed at it, because it was completed, or because it was taken, or because it stopped being true. And the universe does not unassign a person carelessly. It does not clear a room it does not intend to fill. It does not hand you a blank page unless it intends for you to write on it. The space you are standing in was made on purpose. It was made for you. And the reason it feels so uncomfortable is not that something has gone wrong. It is that for the first time in a very long time, you are being asked to choose, and you have forgotten how. Now, the person who does not understand this season will fight it. They will grab the first thing that looks like structure. They will take the job that is a copy of the old job because at least it comes with a title. They will fall into a new relationship before the last one is finished teaching them anything. They will volunteer for everything, sign up for everything, say yes to everyone's suggestions, and fill every quiet afternoon with errands, because a full calendar feels like a life even when it isn't one. They will do anything to avoid standing in the blank long enough to hear what it is trying to say. And every time they fill it prematurely, they delay the very discovery they were desperate for. Because the blank is not a punishment. The blank is an appointment. And the confusion is not a defect. The confusion is the sound of an old identity dissolving before the new one has found its voice. And the not knowing, uncomfortable as it feels, is the only ground on which a self that is actually yours can be built. Do not run from the question. Stand inside it. Stay long enough to hear what only an open space can tell you. Because there are things about what you want, what you believe, what you are here for, and who you are underneath the roles that you will never discover while you are busy. They must be uncovered in the open, away from the schedule, away from the obligations, away from the people who need you to stay the way you were, away from the version of you that only knew how to be useful. Most people have never once asked themselves what they want, and then waited for the real answer. They have been answering for other people for so long that their own wanting has become a stranger. They have absorbed the ambitions of their parents, the needs of their children, the expectations of their partners, the demands of their employers, the standards of their culture, the noise of their feeds, and the opinions of everyone who ever had an opinion. And somewhere underneath all of that machinery there is a person they have never properly met. A real person. An original person. A person with a pull towards something that does not match the noise. And the only way to meet them is through the door of not knowing. That is why life takes the assignment away before it gives you the next one. Not because you are being abandoned, because the person you are buried under is worth digging out, even if it takes an empty house, even if it takes a season with no title, even if it takes the deliberate, patient removal of every structure that was answering the question on your behalf. Let me say this plainly. Every person who ever reinvented themselves, every late starter, every second act, every person who built something real in the second half of their life, every one of them stood in this exact blank before they stood in the new thing. Not one of them was handed the answer. Not one of them woke up with a fully formed plan. Every one of them spent a season not knowing. Every one of them felt foolish, behind, and unsure. Every one of them had a moment when they said, "I have no idea what I am doing, and I am too old to have no idea what I am doing." And if you are standing in that moment right now, do not panic. You are in good company. You are in the company of everyone who has ever been brave enough to become someone new after the world had already decided who they were. And the space that currently feels empty, the day that currently feels shapeless, the future that currently feels like fog, is being prepared for a life you cannot yet imagine. But you must use this season correctly. Most people waste it. They spend it grieving the old assignment instead of exploring the new ground. They spend it scrolling job listings and feeling nothing. They spend it asking everyone else what they should do and collecting opinions instead of evidence. They spend it waiting to feel certain, and certainty never comes, so they never move. They miss the appointment because they were too busy mourning the absence to notice the opening. So I want you to listen to what I am about to teach you. Because if you absorb this, your season of not knowing will not be wasted. It will become the most important season of your entire life. The kind of season people look back on years later and say, "That was the year nothing made sense, but everything was being decided. That was the year I had no title, and I found my name. That was the year I lost the map, and finally learned to walk." Here's the first thing you must understand. The role was never the self. You were something before you were a parent. You were something before you were a partner. You were something before you had a title on a business card or a signature on an email. And that something is still here. It did not leave when the role ended. It has simply been standing in the back of the room for 20 years, holding everyone else's coats. The universe did not make a mother. It made a person who mothered. It did not make a manager or a husband or a wife or a nurse or a founder. It made a person, and then that person became those things for a season and gave themselves to those things fully. And that giving was real, and it was holy, and it mattered. But the role was something you did. It was never what you were. And when a role ends, it can feel like the self is ending, because the self has been wearing that role so long it forgot it had a face of its own underneath. That is what the disorientation is. It is not the loss of yourself. It is the meeting of yourself. The grief you already did was for the role. The strangeness you feel now is the introduction. You are being introduced to someone you have not spent time with in decades, and of course they feel like a stranger. You have not been alone with them since before everything began. And hear this, because it matters. You are not starting over. You cannot start over. Zero is not available to you. A person who raised children into adults and is now deciding what to do next is not a beginner. They ran a small civilization for 20 years. They managed budgets, crises, logistics, diplomacy, and love, unpaid and mostly unthanked, and they did it while carrying everything else. A person who spent 15 years in one career and is walking out of it is not empty-handed. They are carrying 15 years of judgment that no new hire could buy. A person who has come through the end of a marriage is not less than they were. They know things about themselves and about people that they could not have learned any other way. You are not starting from nothing. You are starting from experience. And experience does not expire. It only waits to be pointed at something new. The second thing you must understand is that wanting is a skill, and yours has been out of use. For a very long time, your wants were the last item on the list, if they made the list at all. You got very good at knowing what everyone else needed. You could read a room, read a child, read a partner, read a boss, and know before they said a word what would make things work. You became an expert in the wanting of other people, and in exchange you let your own wanting go quiet because there was no room for it, and because it seemed like the loving thing to do, and because that is what the assignment required. So now someone asks you the simplest question in the world, what do you want? And you go blank, not because there is nothing in you, because that muscle has not carried weight in 20 years. You do not find what you want by thinking harder about it. You cannot reason your way to desire. Desire is not decided. Desire is recovered. And you recover it the way you recover any strength that has gone soft, with small loads and patient repetition. You cannot answer what you want to do with the rest of your life when you cannot yet answer what you want for dinner. So start with dinner. Start with which chair you actually want to sit in. Start with which book you actually want to read, not the one you think you should be reading. Start with the walk you take because you want to and not because it is good for you. Start with the small, honest, almost embarrassing wants and honor them, and let the muscle remember what it feels like to be consulted. The big want is not hiding from you. It is waiting for the small wants to build a path to it. The third thing you must understand is that clarity is not a prerequisite for movement. It is a product of it. You have been waiting to feel sure before you act. You have been telling yourself that as soon as you know what you want, you will move. But the order is backward. You will not know until you move. Certainty is not something you find at the bottom of enough thinking. It is something you build, one small experiment at a time. Sitting still and thinking harder does not produce clarity. It produces more thinking. The universe steers people who are moving. It cannot steer a parked car. So stop trying to choose a life. You are not choosing a life. You are choosing a test. One small test. One conversation with someone who does the thing you are curious about. One class. One afternoon spent doing the thing you keep thinking about and never do. One honest look at the part of your old work you actually liked, separated from the parts you were only tolerating. A decision is not a verdict. It is an experiment. And an experiment cannot fail, because whatever it returns is information. And information is the only thing that has ever produced clarity in anyone. The step does not have to be the right step. It has to be a step. A wrong step can be corrected. A step never taken cannot be corrected. It can only be regretted. There is a difference, and you must learn it, between drifting and exploring. They look the same from the outside. In both, a person has no fixed destination. In both, the days are open and the direction is unclear. But drifting is being moved. Exploring is moving. Drifting says, I do not know what I want, so I will wait. Exploring says, I do not know what I want, so I will look. Drifting empties a person. Exploring fills them. The same open week can be drift for one person and exploration for another. The same unscheduled morning, the same quiet house, the same blank calendar. What separates them is not the circumstance. It is the use of the circumstance. The drifting person is waiting to be told. The exploring person is finding out. So if you are in a season of not knowing, do not stay in drift. Become exploration. Get up at a set time, even when nothing requires it. Write every morning, and write specifically about what you noticed yourself wanting the day before. Try one thing a week that you have never tried. Talk to one person a week whose life you are curious about. Move your body. Learn something with your hands. Say no to one thing you would have automatically said yes to before. Let the open space work for you instead of on you. Now hear this carefully, because this is where most people fail. The open question will reveal what the busy years concealed. As long as you were needed every hour, you could hide from yourself. You could avoid the fact that you did not actually enjoy the thing you were good at. You could avoid the dream you put in a drawer at 26. You could avoid noticing that half your ambitions were your parents' ambitions wearing your clothes. You could avoid the truth that you built an entire identity on being needed, and that being needed was easier than being known. The schedule gave you somewhere to put your attention, so you never had to put it on the person in the mirror. But an open season does not allow that escape. It turns you toward yourself. And the first weeks of really asking what you want can be the most uncomfortable weeks of your life, because everything you have been avoiding suddenly has nowhere to hide. The borrowed goals are exposed. The people-pleasing is exposed. The fear of being seen as selfish is exposed. The habit of asking permission is exposed. The discovery that you do not actually know what you like to eat, or what music you would choose, or what you would do with a free Saturday if no one would ever know, is exposed. The way you have called your fear practicality is exposed. The way you have called your self-erasure love is exposed. And the only way through this exposure is forward. You cannot run back into busyness to escape what the open space is showing you. If you do, you will simply have to face the same exposure later, and the cost of avoidance will be higher. So stand in it. Let the exposure do its work. Let the discomfort teach. Because on the other side of it is a person you have not yet met. A clearer person, a more honest person, a person who knows what they like and is no longer ashamed of it, a person who can be asked what they want and answer without checking anyone's face first, a person who does not need to be needed in order to feel real, a person who does not need a title to walk into a room, a person who has met themselves, made peace with themselves, and learned to choose for themselves. That person cannot be pushed around by the world, because the world cannot threaten them with irrelevance. The world cannot frighten them with an open calendar. The world cannot manipulate them with the fear of not knowing. They have already not known. They have already survived it. They have already turned it into a self. And now they walk through their days with a steadiness that no job, no relationship, and no role could ever have given them. This is the secret of every self-directed life. The ability to want on your own behalf is not given to you by circumstances. It is built in the absence of them. When you are alone with an open question, alone with the truth, alone with the small daily discipline of consulting your own desire and honoring it when no one is watching, you become a person who is no longer waiting for an assignment. You become a person who assigns. You become someone who walks into rooms differently, who decides differently, who speaks about the future differently. And people sense it. They do not always know why. They cannot always name it. But they feel the presence of a person who has been shaped by an open question and did not flinch. And because that person can stand in the blank without panicking, they are no longer desperate for any structure that offers to fill it. Desperation grabs the wrong thing. Composure waits for the right one. Now, there is a temptation in this season that you must learn to refuse. The temptation is to fill the blank prematurely. The mind hates an open question. It will reach for anything that closes it. It will reach for a new relationship, not because the person is right, but because the loneliness of deciding alone is unbearable. It will reach for the first job that gets offered, not because it fits, but because it comes with a title, and the title feels like an answer. It will reach for a role that lets you be needed again, a commitment, a rescue, someone else's crisis, anything that puts your attention safely back on other people. It will reach for a course, a certification, a program, not because you are curious, but because enrolling feels like progress. It will reach for endless content that simulates a direction without producing one. It will reach for other people's suggestions and let them vote on your life. And every time you reach, you delay the becoming. Every time you close the question early, you postpone the answer the question was sent to deliver. Stop reaching. Stand still. Let the space stay open long enough for the right thing to arrive at the right time. Premature filling produces fragile lives. Patient exploring produces lives that hold. Understand this. Anything that rushes in to fill a space the universe deliberately cleared will eventually have to be cleared again, and the second clearing is always more painful than the first. So when you feel that nervous reaching, that itch to have an answer, any answer, so that you can stop being asked, Recognize it for what it is. It is not readiness, it is impatience. And impatience is the thief of discovery. The person who can stand in an open question without grabbing is being prepared for a life they chose. The person who cannot tolerate a single month of not knowing will spend the rest of their years living inside the first thing that showed up. Not knowing is not just a season, it is a skill. And it is the foundational skill of every life that was actually chosen rather than accepted. While you are exploring, you will be tempted to measure your progress by what is visible. And what is visible may look like very little. There is no announcement, no new title, no one congratulating you, no one even noticing what you are doing, because what you are doing looks, from the outside, like a person taking a walk, or reading, or sitting with a notebook, or having coffee with someone who does something interesting. And the lower voice will whisper, "Is any of this even working? Is this a plan or a delay? Are you exploring or just avoiding? Hear me. Visibility is not the measure of progress. The deepest work of discovery happens underground, where no one can see it, including you sometimes. The roots of a tree do not announce themselves before the trunk rises. A field left fallow looks like it is doing nothing, and it is doing the most important thing a field can do. And the caterpillar inside the chrysalis does not grow wings. It dissolves. Nearly everything it was breaks down into something formless, and the cells that will build the wings were inside it the whole time, waiting for the old shape to get out of the way. If you feel formless right now, you are not failing. You are in the middle. The season you spend recovering your own wanting will one day produce a visible life, but the recovering and the producing are not on the same timeline. You may be recovering for months before the producing becomes visible. Do not interpret invisibility as inactivity. Something is moving, even when no one is reporting it. There is a person inside you whom the roles have been covering, and there is a pull inside you that the obligations have been muffling, and there is a want inside you that the years of wanting for others have been starving, and there is a strength in you that being needed has been softening, and the only environment in which these can rise is the environment of an open question. So when life removes the assignment, the schedule, the title, the being needed, it is not depriving you. It is finally giving you access to what was always yours, but always buried. It is finally allowing the person, the pull, the want, and the strength to come into the open air, where they can be examined, tested, and trusted. That access is a gift, a painful gift, but a gift. And one day you will look back at the season of not knowing as the most generous chapter of your entire life, the chapter that gave you yourself. Now hear this, because this is critical. In the season of not knowing, you must guard your mind with extraordinary care. A mind facing an open question is more vulnerable than a mind with a schedule. There is no task to interrupt the spiral, no deadline to silence the doubt, no one waiting on you to pull you out of the loop. The thoughts that come in the open space can be wonderful, but they can also be terrible. Voices of doubt grow louder when nothing is drowning them out. Voices of regret multiply when there is time to replay every choice. Voices of comparison sharpen when your own life looks unfinished next to everyone else's. And if you are not careful, the season that was meant to free you can begin to trap you. You can come out of it not clearer, but more frightened. Not more yourself, but more convinced you have no self to find. So the discipline of this season is not just sitting with the question, The discipline is choosing what kind of thoughts are allowed to sit with you. Train your inner voice. Do not let the open space become a place where the worst version of your thinking gets the microphone. Speak to yourself out loud if you must. Read words that widen the mind instead of narrowing it. Write your thoughts down so you can see them and refuse the false ones. Build small rituals that hold the day together. Order your morning. Order your evening. Sleep well. Eat with care. Move your body. In a season without structure, small disciplines are large weapons. They are the way you keep the openness sacred instead of letting it turn to fog. The person who keeps their disciplines through a season of not knowing comes out of it with a self. The person who lets them collapse comes out of it with only more time gone. Time alone does not produce clarity. Time plus honesty plus small daily motion produces clarity. Time plus avoidance plus self-pity produces a person who is still standing in the kitchen 2 years later, asking the same question and calling it patience. Now let me speak to something almost no one will tell you about this season. The open question has voices. Not outside voices, inside ones. And they are louder now than they ever were when you were busy, because busyness used to drown them out. When every hour is spoken for, you cannot hear the whispers, but when the calendar goes quiet, the whispers become a chorus. Some of these voices are here to help you. They are the voice of curiosity, the voice of honesty, the voice of that pull you have been ignoring for years, the voice of the person underneath who has been waiting a long time to be consulted. Listen to those voices. They are friends. But there are other voices that come specifically because you are unassigned. They come to keep you standing in the blank forever. They come to convince you that not knowing is proof that there is nothing to know, that your uncertainty is proof of your emptiness, that your slow progress is proof you have nothing left to offer. These voices speak in the language of your oldest fears. They use the vocabulary of everyone who ever doubted you. They sound like your own thoughts because they have been rehearsing in your head for years. And in an open season, when there is no schedule to interrupt them, they will speak with terrifying confidence. You must learn to recognize them. The first voice you must recognize is the voice of the old role. It says, you were valuable when you were needed. It says you were somebody when you had the title, when the house was full, when someone depended on you. It measures your worth entirely by your usefulness to other people. And now that fewer people need you, it concludes that you are worth less. Here is how you know it is lying. The voice of the old role never asks what you want. It only asks who needs you. It cannot imagine a version of your value that is not in service of someone else. But you were valuable before anyone needed you. You will be valuable when no one does. Usefulness is something you can offer. It is not what you are. When this voice rises, do not argue with it. Simply notice that it is measuring you with a ruler that was built by the role, and the role is over, and the ruler goes with it. The second voice is the voice of too late. It says, you should have figured this out by now. It says, the window has closed. People your age do not start things. The good years are behind you, and whatever you do next will be smaller than what you did before. Here is how you know it is lying. The voice of too late only does one kind of math. It counts the years you have used and never counts what you gathered in them. It subtracts your age from some imaginary deadline and calls that a verdict. But it never adds. It never adds the judgment you have now that you did not have at 30. It never adds the people you understand, the mistakes you will not make twice, the patience you paid for, the skills you carry without even noticing them. There are people who started the best thing they ever did at 50, at 60, at 70, and every one of them heard this voice, and every one of them had to walk past it. Time is not the currency of a new chapter. Willingness is. When this voice rises, answer it with arithmetic of your own. Add what you know. Add what you have survived. Add what you can see now that you could not see then. And then ask it honestly whether the person who has all of that is really too late for anything. The third voice is the voice of the perfect choice. It says, do not move until you are certain. It says, you cannot afford another mistake. You have already lost enough time, so wait until you know. And it sounds wise. It sounds careful. It sounds like the voice of a person who has learned from experience. But here is how you know it is lying. It demands certainty as the price of motion, and certainty is only produced by motion, so the price can never be paid. The voice of the perfect choice does not protect you from a wrong decision. It protects you from every decision. It dresses fear as prudence and calls paralysis discernment. And the longer you obey it, the more it convinces you that the waiting itself is a form of progress. It is not. Waiting for certainty is not caution. It is a way of never being responsible for what you chose. When this voice rises, shrink the decision until the voice has nothing to say. It cannot object to one conversation. It cannot object to one afternoon. It cannot object to one small test. Take the step that is too small to be a mistake, and take the next one, and let the certainty it demanded arrive the only way certainty ever does, afterward. The fourth voice is the voice of the committee. It does not speak in your voice at all. It speaks in your mother's voice, your ex's voice, your old boss's voice, the voice of the friend who always sighs when you mention a new idea. It says, "What will people think?" It says, "You are being selfish." It says, "That is not realistic. That is not you. That is not what someone in your position does." And here is how you know it is lying. The committee always votes no. It never once in your entire life has voted yes on something that was only for you. It has no interest in what you want, only in what will keep you recognizable to the people who liked you better when you were smaller. The committee is not wise. It is just loud, and it has had a long time to get comfortable in your head. When this voice rises, ask a single question. Whose voice is that? Name the person. Then ask whether that person has ever once had to live your life. They have not. You have. The vote is yours. It was always yours. And you are permitted, at any age, in any circumstance, to want something no one else on the committee would have chosen for you. The season of not knowing, then, is not just a place of silence. It is a place of voices. And the discipline of this season is learning to tell them apart and to obey only the right ones. The voice of curiosity, even when it feels foolish. The voice of honesty, even when it is inconvenient. The voice of the pull, even when it is quiet. The voice of something larger than you, even when it does not explain itself. These are the voices you must learn to follow. And the others, the old role, the too late, the perfect choice, the committee, must learn that they have no authority in the room where you are deciding who you are. The person who masters this sorting comes out of the open season with a mind no one can push around. The world will throw 1,000 voices at them for the rest of their life, and they will sort them effortlessly because they learned to sort them in the quiet where every voice came one at a time, and they had to decide what to do with each. There is one more thing about these voices that you must understand. The truest thing you will ever learn about what you want will also come in this season. The same quiet that lets the accusing voices be heard also lets the real voice be heard. And you need to know how the real voice sounds, because it does not sound like the others. It does not sound like a should. It sounds like a lean. It sounds like a pull. It sounds like curiosity, not obligation. It is quiet, and it is specific, and it is very often small and slightly embarrassing because it does not match the image you have of yourself. It does not say you must do something important. It says, I keep looking at that. I keep thinking about that. I lose track of time when I do that. I felt something when they talked about that. It shows up as the thing you envy in other people, because what you envy is what you want and have not yet admitted. It shows up as resentment, because resentment is very often a want that was never allowed. It shows up as the question you would ask if you were certain no one would laugh. It shows up in what you would do with a whole free day if no one would ever know how you spent it. The universe speaks in pulls, not commands. It does not send you a plan. It sends you a direction, faint at first, and it strengthens the direction every time you honor it. This voice is not loud. It does not announce itself. It speaks in the quiet, often early in the morning, often in the middle of doing something else, often when you have stopped trying to force an answer. And when it speaks, you will know it, because it will not sound like fear, and it will not sound like anyone else, and it will feel, strangely, like something you already knew. Write those moments down. They are deposits. They are the raw material of the life you are about to build, arriving one honest want at a time. You may feel forgotten in this season. You are not. The most valuable seasons of a life are the ones no one sees. The universe is not absent in the open space. It is closest there. The reason it feels different is that you are no longer experiencing life through the filter of being needed. You are experiencing it directly, and direct experience is unfamiliar to most people. It feels at first like absence, because they have only ever known themselves through the reflection of other people's needs. The steady, quiet, unhurried presence of something larger than you, moving in the ordinary hours, the kind of presence that does not produce fireworks but produces foundations, is a presence most people have never known. It will feel unfamiliar at first. Do not mistake unfamiliarity for absence. Life is nearest in the still hours. You are not abandoned. You are being introduced to yourself slowly, on purpose, by a hand that is in no hurry and has never once been careless with you. Let me tell you what this season is actually producing in you. It is producing self-authorship. The capacity to direct your own life without a role to tell you how. It is producing the ability to want, the skill of consulting your own desire and trusting what it says. It is producing tolerance for open questions, the strength to stand inside not knowing without collapsing into the first answer that offers itself. It is producing a self that does not need to be needed. One that can walk into an empty week and feel alive instead of erased. It is producing discernment, the ability to tell a pull from a should, and a real opportunity from a familiar trap. It is producing the skill of choosing, of trying, of correcting, of trying again without shame. It is producing patience, the kind that can wait for the right thing without becoming bitter and move toward it without becoming frantic. And it is producing a relationship with your own life that no future role, no future partner, no future success will ever be able to take from you, because it was built when there was no role, no partner, and no success to lean on. This is the gold of the open season. This is the harvest of not knowing, and you cannot buy it. You can only receive it by staying faithful to the question long enough for it to answer. There will be moments in this season when you doubt everything. You will doubt that you have anything left to offer. You will doubt that the pull you feel is real. You will doubt that a person your age, in your situation, with your history, is allowed to want something new. You will doubt the very hand that cleared the room. This is normal. Every person who has walked this road has wrestled with these doubts at some point. The doubt is not the disqualifier. The surrender to doubt is. So when the doubt rises, do not debate it. Do not let it call a hearing in your mind. Simply continue. Continue the morning routine. Continue the small experiments. Continue the honest pages. Continue the quiet consulting of what you actually want. Doubt cannot survive sustained motion. It can defeat a person who is thinking. It cannot defeat a person who is trying. So keep trying. Keep asking. Keep taking the step that is too small to be a mistake. The doubt will weaken when it discovers it cannot stop your feet. And one morning you will wake up and notice that the inner voice has shifted from, "What am I supposed to do?" to, "I know what I am going to try next." Now, the season of not knowing is not forever. You must remember this in the middle of it. The universe does not leave a person unassigned forever. The open question has an answer on the way, but the timing is not yours to control. And the worst thing you can do is try to shortcut it. The season ends not when you find the perfect answer. It ends when you have become a person who can act without one. So stop measuring the season by the calendar. Measure it by what is forming inside you. Ask yourself, am I following my own curiosity more than I was? Am I asking fewer people for permission than I was? Can I say what I want out loud without apologizing for it? Do I try things now that I would only have thought about before? Can I stand in an open week without panicking? Am I less dependent on being needed than I was? Am I more honest with myself about what I like and what I do not? These are the real metrics. And as these inner metrics rise, the season is doing exactly what it was sent to do. When the open season has done its work, things will begin to shift. You will not have to force it. You will not have to announce it. The pull will get louder and more specific. What was a faint lean will become a direction you can name. The right people will start appearing, not the old ones, new ones. People who match the person you are becoming. People who have stood in their own blank and recognize the marks of yours. People who are not impressed by titles and not frightened by change. The right opportunities will begin to open, not the loud ones you would have grabbed before, the aligned ones, the ones that fit the want you discovered in the quiet. The resources will begin to gather, not in the chaotic surplus you once imagined, but in the steady, ordered supply that matches the steady, ordered person you have become. This is what the open season produces. Not just an inner change, but eventually an outer alignment. The world begins to respond to the new person, because the new person is no longer broadcasting the old need. But here is the warning. When the new doors open, do not walk through them as the old you. The old you said yes to everything. The old you needed to be needed. The old you let a title answer the question of who they were. The person who walks through the new door must be the person who was built in the open season, the one who knows what they want and can say so, the one who can decline the thing that looks good but does not fit, the one who does not confuse being useful with being alive. Do not betray the formation. Do not undo the work. The temptation when structure returns is to sink into it so gratefully that you abandon everything that made you ready for it. Do not do that. Take the morning pages with you. Take the small want with you. Take the habit of consulting yourself before you consult anyone else. Take the tolerance for open questions with you, because the next chapter will have its own. The open season is not just something you survive, it is something you carry. The person who brings the disciplines of not knowing into the season of knowing becomes unshakable. The person who drops them at the door becomes a cautionary tale. I want to speak to the part of you that is afraid right now. The part that hears all of this and wonders if you can actually do it. The part that feels too tired, too late, too uncertain, too disappointed to become the person this season is shaping. Hear me. You do not have to know what you want in order to take the next step. You only have to know what you are curious about. You do not have to have a plan. You only have to have a direction. And a direction can be as small as, I want to find out more about that. You do not have to feel ready to become ready. You only have to be willing to consult yourself one more morning, willing to honor one more small want, willing to have one more conversation with someone whose life interests you, willing to try one more thing you might be bad at, willing to write one more honest sentence about what you actually feel, willing to say no to one more thing that would have filled the space too soon. The open season is walked in small acts of honesty, not heroic leaps. And every small act of honesty is a deposit in the account of the person you are becoming. Eventually, that account becomes large enough to fund a different kind of life. You are not behind. You are not too late. You are not forgotten. You are not disqualified. You are not too old, too tired, too far along, or too far gone. You are not the only one standing in a kitchen with a wide-open question. You are not the first to feel foolish for not knowing at an age when you thought you would. You are not the last to wonder if there is anything left in you worth building. You are simply at a stage of the road that is sacred but uncomfortable. And the discomfort is not a sign that you are off course. It is a sign that the course is doing what it was designed to do. Stay on the road. Do not turn back. Do not grab sideways. Do not surrender. The person who stands in the open question without abandoning their honesty emerges into a kind of life that the person who never asked can never access. Not because they are more talented, because they were willing to not know long enough to find out. There is something else you must hear. This season will change your relationships permanently. Some of the people from the old chapter will come with you, but in a different posture, because they will be meeting a person who chooses. Some will not, and that is not a failure. It is simply what happens when a person stops being who they were required to be. And some new people, the right ones, will recognize you, and you will recognize them quietly and without effort. You will no longer be drawn to people out of habit, history, or proximity. You will be drawn to people who see the person you are becoming and are glad. This is a permanent upgrade in how you are accompanied, and it will protect everything you build from here. The open season teaches a person to stand alone in their own wanting, yes, but it also teaches them how to be properly joined. The two go together. A person who cannot bear their own open question will accept any company that closes it. A person who can bear it will only accept company that widens it. Now, let us speak about the pull that has been getting clearer in your quiet. Pay attention to it. It is not random. It is not a whim. It is the voice that was always there, buried under the louder voices of everyone you were living for. As those voices have receded, yours has begun to surface. It is telling you what you actually like, what you actually believe, what you actually want to spend your remaining years on, and what you must actually build. Honor it. Write down what it says. Test it against reality with small experiments. Move on what is confirmed. Do not let the returning noise of a full life drown it out again. This voice, recovered in the open season, is the most valuable thing a person can own in the second half of their life. It is the compass for everything after. Most people live without ever finding it. You have been given the season of not knowing precisely so that you can. Do not waste the appointment. Some of you have been in the open season so long you have begun to think it is permanent. You have started to build an identity around the not knowing. You have started to call yourself someone who is figuring things out, and years have gone by, and the figuring has quietly become a place to live. Hear me. Do not build a permanent residence in a season that was meant to be temporary. The open question was a passage, not a home. The blank was a page, not a wall. You are not meant to stand in the kitchen forever. You are meant to be asked, and then to answer, and then to walk. So if the season has been long, do not surrender to it. Keep the honesty, but lift your eyes. Pick one pull and test it this week. Not the perfect one. 1. The road has a turn. The chapter has a close. The person you have been becoming has a release date. You will not always be unsure. You will not always be unassigned. But when the direction becomes clear, what will matter is who you became while it was not. Let me give you a discipline that will serve you in this season more than almost any other. It is the discipline of the small want. Once a day, every day, notice one thing you want and give it to yourself without justifying it. Not something you need, something you want. The window seat, the second cup, the book that is not improving you, the song that is not sophisticated, the route home that is longer and prettier, the hour spent on the thing that is not productive. Most people find this almost impossible at first because they have spent so long earning their wants that a want without a justification feels like a crime. But the small want is not indulgence. It is training. It is the daily deliberate reloading of a muscle that has carried nothing for years. It is how you teach yourself that your own desire is allowed to be a reason. Practice it. Say the want out loud. Write it down. Repeat it when the old reflex says, "That is not important. You should be doing something useful." The small wants will not answer the big question, but they will build the person who can. And the person is the entire point. You have come a long way already by listening this far. Most people cannot sit with a question this open for this long. They scroll past. They distract themselves. They consume and never absorb. The fact that you are still here is itself evidence that something in you is ready to be consulted. So let me speak to that ready thing. Let me speak to the part of you that recognizes truth when it is told plainly. You did not land in this season by accident. The empty house is not random. The blank calendar is not meaningless. The title you no longer have, the person who is no longer there, the assignment that ended, the question that will not stop asking, none of it is accident. It is a curriculum, and the curriculum has a graduate. You are the graduate. The person you are becoming, the honest, self-directed, unhurried, clear-eyed, undivided person, is being readied. And when they are ready, they will be released, not into the same life, into a chosen one. This is the moment to make a decision. Decide right now that you will not waste another day of this season mourning what ended. Decide that you will use it for what it was sent to do. Decide that you will explore instead of drift. Decide that you will consult your own wanting every single day until it answers. Decide that you will take the step that is too small to be a mistake, and then the next one. Decide that you will not fill the blank with the first thing that offers to close it. Decide that you will not walk through the next door as the person who only knew how to be needed. Decide that you will carry the disciplines of the open season into every full season that follows. This decision, made now, in the quiet of wherever you are sitting, is one of the most important decisions of your entire life. Because the decision is the difference between a person who emerges from the open question and a person who escapes it. The escaper grabs the nearest answer. The emerger builds their own. Stand up inside yourself. Even if you cannot stand up physically, stand up inwardly. Lift the chin of your soul. Stop apologizing for not knowing. Stop explaining your open season to people who have never once asked themselves what they want. Stop trying to convince anyone that you have a plan. You are more than a plan. You are being made. Most of the people who will one day do the work that mattered most to them, who will build the thing, teach the thing, make the thing, start the thing, at an age the world told them was too late, were once exactly where you are right now, unsure, unassigned, embarrassed, and quiet. And they did not waste it. They asked in it. They tried in it. They noticed in it. They honored the small wants in it. They became in it. And when their season ended, they were ready. Not because they were lucky, because they had used the open question the way it was meant to be used. Use yours. The world has enough people who never once asked themselves what they wanted and meant it. It does not need another one. It needs the person you're becoming in this quiet. It is waiting for them, even if it does not yet know their name. So when the blank feels unbearable tonight, do not run. Stand in it. Speak to it. Tell it, you are not my emptiness. You are my clearing, and I am here to find out what grows in you. When the voice of too late rises tomorrow morning, do not surrender to it. Speak to it. Tell it, you only count the years I have spent. I count what I gathered in them. When the temptation rises to grab the first structure that offers itself, do not collapse. Speak to it. Tell it, I will not trade the life I am discovering for a role that only wants to use me. I will wait for what fits. When the committee starts to vote, do not listen. Speak to it. Tell it, you have never lived my life. I have. The vote is mine. This is how a person walks through the season of not knowing, with their eyes open, with their honesty intact, with one small experiment in front of them, and with the unshakable knowledge that the question will not last forever, but what the question builds in them will. The chapter you are in right now has an ending. I want you to feel that. There is an ending. The question will resolve. The direction will clear. The right people will arrive. The right work will appear. The pull will become a path, and the path will become a life. But understand this with sober clarity. The life will be the size of the exploration, not the size of the wishing. So while you are in the open season, do not waste your time wishing you already knew. Use the season to explore as widely and as honestly as you can, because the answer will come, and it will match exactly what you were brave enough to try. Try things, ask things, notice things. Honor the small wants. Take the small steps. Write the honest pages. Talk to the interesting people. Test the pulls. And when the direction arrives, it will be large, because it will reflect the courage of a person who used their open season correctly. Hear this final word, and let it settle into the deepest part of you. You are not standing in a blank because the universe forgot you. You are standing in a blank because the universe trusts you. Trusts you to answer a question no one else can answer for you. Trusts you to want something on your own behalf after a lifetime of wanting for others. Trusts you to hold the pen. The very uncertainty you are tempted to read as evidence that you have nothing left is, in fact, the clearest sign that something new is being asked of you. You have been cleared for something the old role could never have held. So the old role had to end. Do not grieve the clearing. Take the pen. There's a person at the end of this road who will look back on this chapter as the one that gave them their life. That person is you. Do not let them down. Stand in the question. Honor the pull. Trust the process. Take the small step. And when the time comes, and it will come, step out of the season of not knowing, not as a person who survived it, but as a person who was made by it. Step out as a person who can no longer be frightened by an open question because they have stood inside one. As a person who can no longer be controlled by the need to be needed because they learned to be enough in an empty room. As a person who walks with a quiet, immovable sense of who they are that no one gave them and no one can take, because it was built in the only place such a thing is ever built, the long, quiet, sacred season of not knowing. Now go and walk it. The direction is coming. The people will come. The work will appear. The life will take shape. But none of that is your concern today. Today, your only concern is this. Stand in the question. Notice what you want. Take one small step toward it. Trust the hand that cleared the room, and become the person the open space was made to produce. Because when you finally walk out of it, the world will see you, and it will know, without anyone needing to explain, that this is not a person who was told who to be. This is a person who found out, in the quiet, in the blank, in the sacred school of not